Hello everyone. For the science video today, I will be talking about the idea of texture. And by the end of this video, hopefully you are able to observe and name the texture of an object. So we're going to be talking about how can we describe the texture of an object? And to help answer that question, I will be reading this book titled Texture by Karen Jones. Our observations help us to answer questions and learn new things. We can observe properties of objects in the world around us. Properties are things like color, weight, size, shape, texture, and temperature. We can touch or look at objects to describe their texture. Texture is the way something feels. Some objects, like a window pane, have a smooth texture. Some things are rough and scratchy, like sandpaper or tree bark. Other things can be hard and flat, like a table. Some objects can have a soft texture, like a cotton ball or a puppy. Other things can be squishy or sticky, like chewing gum or dough. Some things have a bumpy texture, like a pile of rocks. Some things can be sharp and pointy, like a cactus. Some things also can feel wet or dry. Texture means how something feels. It is a property that we can use to describe things. Now, how can we describe the texture of an object? A lot of times when I talk with kids about the texture of something or how something feels, they usually use words like smooth or rough or hot or cold. But there are a ton of other words you can use to describe texture. Let's try something together. Take your hand and put it on your head. Move it around a little bit. What do you feel? You're going to feel probably hair. Think about how that hair feels. Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is it cool? Is it warm? Is it hot? Is it dry? Is it wet? When I touch my hair, it is kind of cool, especially the parts of my hair that are far away from my head. It's not cold. It's not hot, it's not warm. Parts of it are cool, but if I stick my fingers inside my hair, it feels a little bit warmer inside there because it is closer to my body. I just brushed my hair, so it doesn't feel knotted. It feels pretty smooth. Now, if you have shorter hair, what about hair that might only be this long? Like if you shave part of it, I wonder how that would feel. Would it feel smooth or would it feel pointy? Would it feel rough? Would it feel bumpy? All right, now touch part of your clothing. I'm pretty sure you are wearing some sort of clothing right now. So find the fabric and put your hand on it. How does it feel? My sweater here feels a little bit bumpy. There's texture there. Some parts are smooth and thin and some parts are thicker and not as smooth. It's a little bit rough. I really wanted to show you this part of my shirt. Check it out. It's a perfect shirt for talking about texture. It's pretty lacy right here, but then when you get to these shapes, they're really smooth, almost velvety. So even the shirt has different textures. Now, just in the last 20 seconds, I used words like velvety, smooth, cool, warm, rough, tangled. I wonder if there are any other texture words that you might have heard of before, but haven't used. You know what I did? I looked up a bunch of different words to describe texture, and it gave me an entire alphabet of words. Check it out. Almost every single letter is represented here. It's hard to find words that start with Q, Y, or Z, and so those words are not on this list, but every other letter is there. How about the word abrasive, boiling, coarse, dusty, elastic, furry, gooey, hot, itchy, jagged, knitted, level, mushy, neat, orderly, prickly, rough, silky, thin, uneven, velvety, and wet. Wow, that's a lot of words you could use when you are feeling something. Think about that word prickly I just said. Prickly. I usually try to avoid things that are prickly or pokey, like a rose bush or a porcupine. Look at this prickly thing right here. Would you want to touch that? One side looks really pokey and the other side still looks pretty rough. Did you know that this is something you might use every day? Have you ever heard of Velcro before? This is what Velcro looks like up close. That was really cool seeing Velcro up close. Now, that gave me an idea. I thought about looking at other things up close to see their texture and what it looks like when you are right there with it. Looking at this, it looks like they're very tiny, small little balls. They don't look very rough. They look like they might be smooth. Now here's another angle. A finger is going across it, and it looks pretty stiff, and it goes right back to the shape it was before. Can you tell what this is? Well, if I told you it was a toothbrush, would you believe me? Now someone is adding gooey, squishy toothpaste onto those rough, stiff bristles. There you have it. Next is a pen up close. You can see that the ink comes out and it's pretty wet. A ball rolls around and pushes it onto the paper. So when you write, if you look closely, it doesn't look as smooth as you think it might be. I mean, have you ever looked at a pen up close? Have you ever seen that little ball? It's pretty cool. This new object looks pretty smooth. It's shiny, smooth, it has some bumps on it. And now that it zooms out, I can tell it is a smooth thing. It's the lid, the metal lid to a pop. Here is the last one that I wanted to show you. It looks interesting to me. I see lots of little bumps. It almost looks like grains of sand. My guess is that this is not very smooth. It might even feel rough. I can't really tell what it is. Can you? Well, let's zoom out and see if that really is something rough. This is where you can really see the difference in texture between the skin of the tomato and the stem. They feel different. So after all of this talk about texture, I'm sure now you are able to use great words to describe how something feels. Thank you for thinking about texture with me, and I wonder what kinds of different textures you can find around your house. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.